I'd like to open a special meeting at 2:57 p.m. Thank you for your attendance. Do we have any apologies at the moment?
I'll make an apology for Councillor Edwards.
And do we have a seconder? Councillor McMullen. Any opposition? All those in favour? 8-0. Okay. Do we have any conflicts? Councillor Guthrie.
I, Councillor Julie Guthrie, declare that I have a perceived conflict of interest as defined by the Local Government Act of 2009, Section 175D and E for agenda item C3 with a subject heading Request for Letter of Support. The personal interest arises because of my relationship with an organisation called Stride. The nature of my relationship with this organisation is that I've been invited to join the consortium as a member, and I'll be dealing with this matter by leaving the room while the matter is discussed and voted upon.
Okay, do we have any other conflicts?
Councillor Hancock, you had one the other day on my list, didn't
not on the ball, not on the.
okay.
Yeah, it was on consultation. Yeah.
I just remembered something.
Yeah, thank you.
I've just got a question for sure. Just on the, I know Councillor Guthrie's just declared it and should be leaving the room, but that matter that you're referring to, C3, it's actually your report.
Only because I shared the email that came my way.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. That was just as a point of disclosure.
You might have to read the report.
Bit tricky, maybe.
Well, it's the background. It suggests that. Because
I shared that email with all of you earlier this morning.
Yeah. So
anybody else could have been the person presenting it.
Well, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest. I, Councillor Tyson Gold, declare that I have a conflict of interest as defined by the Local Government Act 2009, Section 175D and E for agenda item 8.4 with the subject heading Headspace Roma. Because I have been invited on the panel, tender panel, I am declaring that I'll be dealing with this matter by leaving the room while the matter is discussed and voted.
Through you, Mr Mayor, can I just correct? There's a miss in the printings, a misplay, all C1, C2, C3 and C4, I believe, not 8.4. Am I correct in that?
Yours should be C4.
They're all there.
In the big papers.
Oh, right, okay.
In the white papers, they've got a misprint.
Okay, the white's wrong.
Only because it normally has to be a manual adjustment.
Yeah,
no, that's why he's reading the white one.
The system defaults to a number.
He's reading the white one instead of the pink.
Okay, so I'll just declare that was, 8.4, but it's actually C. Okay, any other conflicts before we get on with it?
Okay. There's two letter of supports for the same.
Is there? Right.
I'm just wondering, Mr Mayor, whether C3 and C4.
It'll be the same.
Well, I was wondering if it was, why they're sort of separate.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll be leaving the room. So just doing in that, declaring C3 and C4. I'll be dealing with this by leaving the room.
Council may decide to group them.
And the two different companies,
so two different groups.
Two different identities.
Yeah, well,
they're both voting on the same job.
So I'll just say for completeness, I, Councillor Tyson Gold, declare that I have a conflict of interest as defined by Local Government Act 2009, Section 175D and E for agenda item C3. I've also said C4 with the subject heading request the letter of support because I am being invited to be on the tender panel for Headspace, and I'll be dealing with this matter by leaving the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. Okay, do we have any others?
Just so you, Madam, Councillor Guthrie, would you then have a conflict on C4 as well?
No, because I know nothing about them.
Two different things altogether.
But it might be for the same.
Well, not from my reading of this. The letter of support is for the same Headspace Centre.
Yeah, but there's two different groups applying for the job. They're called for tenders for groups to take on the position.
No, I accept that. I'm just simply asking Councillor Guthrie, does she have a conflict then on C4, given they're tendering for the same thing?
See, I think that personally we probably should put C3 and C4 together and be making a decision on.
Writing letters of support.
Two different letters.
Looking at as.
That's where I was going.
Yes, you can't look at them separately. You have to really look at them
Councillor
together.
Hancock, you would only do that because both C3 and C4 relate to the same thing.
For the letter of support, the requesting of the letter of support is for the same thing.
Okay.
So the question, Councillor Guthrie, is do you think that you should declare a same conflict or nothing? So
I'm
It's up
more
to
than
you.
happy. I'm more than happy to step out for C4 as well. I'm happy to do a declaration of a perceived conflict of interest, just for transparency. Mr.
yeah,
Mayor,
please go ahead.
I, Councillor Julie Guthrie, declare that I have a perceived conflict of interest as defined by the Local Government Act of 2009, Section 175D and E, for agenda item C4, with the subject heading of Headspace Roma. The personal interest arises from my relationship with another organisation, and the nature of the relationship is that because I've been invited to join a consortium of another organisation that is also vying for the same tender, it could be seen as a perception of conflict or perception of a conflict of interest. I'll be dealing with the matter by leaving the room while the matter is discussed and voted upon.
Okay, any other conflicts, councillors?
It's just a question, Mr. Mayor. C4 actually is two letters anyway, as it is. Two different letters as it is. So it's actually three letters we would declare.
Well, actually, you can do all that when we're at that point. Okay, item 5.1, communication infrastructure Dunkeld. I'd like to move that council compile a preliminary submission by 31st of July 2020 and liaise with the Dunkeld community for the need for a macro tower sought through the Black Spot funding program, suggesting it could be located at the RCSC tower near Dunkeld due to floods, flood events, bushfires, remote access and road accidents. And that's point one. And then point two, I'd also like to move that we write to our federal member requesting assistance to request that the small cells that have been granted for areas in the Maranoa be elevated to give the most amount of range for the local residents.
To be elevated.
You could use the directed to achieve the maximum coverage possible, that sort of thing.
Yep, happy with that?
This is from the Dunkeld resolution. On the condition it's erected to achieve the maximum coverage possible.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Burkett, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Six point one, U of R Wall Mural Treatment Project. We have a mover, councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move the council approves the allocation of funds from the Arts and Culture Materials and Services budget, GL 2885.2201.2001, with a total cost of $6,276.50 to allow for the completion of this project.
We have a seconder. Councillor Guthrie, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak?
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to say I think it's going to be a great addition to the recently done Anzac Memorial, which I think was very impressive, so I think that'll tie in with that little area they're trying to create, so I think it's a great initiative.
Okay, no one else wish to speak? We're going to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on. C1, Sarat Ball 1, drilling and
So we
construction.
have to go to committees.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Do we have anyone to move to close? Yeah, councillor Hancock, do we have a seconder? Councillor Ladbrook, all those in favour? 8-0.
So,
Did you want to resolve to handle them together?
Mr Chair, I'll move that council consider items C3 and C4 together.
anyone second it? Councillor Hancock? Anyone against? Anyone for? All those in favour? So, I think I said 8, but there's only 7 here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did get it wrong for you, Brittany, did I?
7.
Yes. C3.
Council considers items C3 and C4 together, I said. And Brittany, just for completeness for the minutes, that'll be a separate resolution. That's a procedural resolution vote. I'm happy to move. If you will.
Move that. Oh, you mean second?
That's all done.
Okay. Yeah.
Brittany, could you just scroll to the item that we just, Thank you.
Councillor O'Neill's moving.
I'll move that council provide a letter to the nominating tenderers in support of the program.
I have a seconder. Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Anyone want to speak for or against the motion? I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0. Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we've done that apparently. So are we back to
C1.
C1? In open, we're in open. Okay, C1, Sarat Ball number 1, drilling and construction. Do we have a mover? Councillor McKnight.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that Council 1 select Johnson Drilling Australia Proprietary Limited as the recommended tenderer for tender 20028, Sarat Ball 1, Drilling and Construction. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to enter into final negotiations with Johnson Drilling Australia Proprietary Limited, noting the tender value of $538,500, excluding GST, plus $53,850 GST, for a total price of $592,350, and accept the contract if the final terms are acceptable. And 3, expenditure be assigned to Work Order 20802 Surat Board.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hancock, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C2, tender 20029 Yulbar Board 2, Drilling and Construction. Do we have a mover? Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that 1, Council select Johnson Drilling Australia Proprietary Limited as the recommended tenderer for tender 20029, Yulbar Board 2, Drilling and Construction. 2, Council authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to enter into final negotiations with Johnson Drilling Australia Proprietary Limited, noting the tender value of $349,550, excluding GST, with GST of $34,955, for a total sum of $384,505, and 3, the works are charged to Work Order WO20801.
Sorry, Councillor McMullen, did you leave a little bit on?
Did I lift it off the top? Which one?
And accept the contract.
Sorry, I'll go back to the top. And accept the contract with final terms are acceptable.
Yeah, I think there should be an
If, yeah.
And do you want the number 3 or?
Yeah.
I have read that, I just looked at the other one.
It's just a bit missing from 2.
But really just between contract and final.
Oh, yeah.
Brittany, can that be just made a little bit wider? Yeah, just a little bit more. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Is there any further business, councillors? Business. Okay, on that note, we'll close the special meeting at 3:35 p.m. Thank you for your attendance.